OK, this iron ore royalty story now in WA. Western Australia has really laid down the gauntlet to the government and said, well, we're going to raise the royalties. Is this a bit of an own goal in a sense, though, because it's open now to the federal government to simply withdraw infrastructure spending?
Well, it's certainly challenging the federal government to do that, and that's the threat that's being made. I mean, Colin Barnett also says he thinks the implications in terms of the GST revenue they might lose are only about $100 million. Now, the federal government says they think the calculation is different and they think it's more than that. So, you know, maybe if Colin Barnett's miscalculated, he might be losing more money on the GST. But it's sort of saying to the federal government, OK, threaten us all you like, you're going to have to do it. And, you know, that the challenge to them is, do they really want to annoy voters in Western Australia that much by taking more things off them? And they've had a fight with Western Australia over health policy. They've previously had fights over water policy. Do they want to pick another fight with WA voters?
But this is another problem of the government's own making, because they were so anxious last year to get a deal with the miners that they signed up to reimburse all royalties.
Yeah, the structure
so it was
of the agreement
only a
is
matter
the
of
problem.
time until something like this happens. So Wayne Swan is now in a situation where he either has war with WA or he goes all out to protect the surplus. If it's war with WA, it's say goodbye to Gary Gray.
Yeah, you see, I think that's true, even though the government can claim that, look, this is hypocritical on the part of the West Australian government, because they said that the miners couldn't really afford to pay a new tax, and yet they turn around and slap more royalties on them. But if the Premier goes to war with Canberra, who do you think the West Australians, the public, whose side are they going to be on?
Well, that's the point I make. They'll be on the Premier's side.
And the other thing is
and they've got
that
Labor
apparently
support locally as well, haven't they?
Apparently they warned Swan a year ago that they would probably go down this track. They told him, and he said, oh, well, we'll have to take that into account. Then what happened?
And Colin Barnett can argue that this isn't increasing the impost on the miners because they're getting the money back from the federal government, which is the structural problem we just talked about.